Tanner, Doctor of Medicine. Tonight's story has the title, Who Search for Truth.
Guardian of birth, healer of the sick, comforter of the aged. And the qualities of the worthy physician are three: the eye of an eagle, the heart of a lion, the hand of a woman.
Our actual case history tonight concerns one aspect in the field of physiology. The object in point, a legal contract. It's dated October 19th, 1832. It represents an agreement never duplicated in the history of man. The case in point, Alexis St. Martin, 19-year-old French-Canadian, occupation, fur trapper. On the 6th day of June in the year 1822, he reached the trading post at Fort Mackinac, Michigan. Awaiting him there were money and trade goods in exchange for his furs. Also awaiting him was a most unusual destiny.
Go to the hospital. Get Dr. Beaumont. Hurry.
Thus, in the early afternoon of June 6, 1822, William Beaumont, M.D., an obscure army surgeon pursuing his profession in the far reaches of the Michigan wilderness, strode into the crude back room of the Mackinac trading post and raised the curtain on one of the most admirable and most important dramas ever enacted in the field of medical science. And that drama is still with us today, every last detail, carefully annotated and preserved in William Beaumont's own handwriting. These are his words. This is his story, as he himself set it down.
Being then stationed at the garrison on the island, I was immediately called to the relief of Alexis St. Martin. When I arrived at the place, I found him senseless and apparently in a moribund state. The shotgun charge, consisting of powder and duck shot, was received in the left side at close distance. It had blown off and fractured the 6th rib about the middle anteriorly, fractured the 5th rib, ruptured the lower portion of the left lobe of the lungs, and lacerated the stomach by a spicula of the rib that was blown through its coat. I also noted a portion of the lungs protruding through the external wound. Immediately below this, a portion of the stomach protruded. There was a puncture in this portion large enough to receive my forefinger.
Alexis St. Martin, is that correct?
Yeah. Came in early this morning. They say he's from Montreal. Came down with one of the expeditions.
Anyone with him? Friend or relative?
No, he was alone. Oh, it's too bad. Oh, it was an accident. We're sure of that.
I want him moved to the post hospital as soon as possible.
Well, get a letter. Take him to the hospital. You think he still has a chance with a wound like that?
I don't think he can live more than 36 hours. In the meantime, I still intend to do everything possible to keep him alive.
Before moving the patient, St. Martin, I attempted to reduce the portions of the lungs and stomach which protruded from the wound. I found the lung was prevented from returning by the sharp point of the fractured rib, over which its membrane had caught fast. But by raising up the lung with the front finger of my left hand, I clipped off with my penknife and my right hand the sharp point of the rib, which enabled me to return the lung into the cavity of the thorax. After giving the wound a superficial dressing, the patient was moved to the post hospital, and in about an hour I attended to dressing the wound more thoroughly, not supposing it probable for him to survive the operation of extracting the fractured spicula of bones and other extraneous substances. But to my utter astonishment, he bore it without a struggle or without sinking. After that, I applied over the wound a carbonated fermenting poultice, changing it once every 8, 10, or 12 hours. The desired effect was achieved in less than 84 hours, with a lively reaction commencing in about 24 hours. This reaction was accompanied with strong arterial action and high inflammatory symptoms of the system generally, more especially of violent pneumonia and inflammation of the lungs.
Help me, mon Dieu, the pain. Sainte Mère, help Alexis.
All right, son, lie quietly.
Pain.
'Another few minutes, and I'll let you alone.
Doctor, in one pain.
I told you to lie quietly. Now do as I say.
I die. What praise? You also please get praise.
He was here this afternoon. He'll be back again tonight.
I die. I don't want death. I pray. Not here. So far away from Maria. Big trees. Mountains. The white river. Oh. Big land. My own. So far away. My family. You must please, doctor. Not death. Not let me die.
No, Alexis, your life is not all within my power. But for myself, I promise you, I won't let you die.
8th of June. The fever continues, and there has been no reaction from the bowels at all. Everything the patient takes into his stomach is either absorbed or makes its exit from the wound in the stomach externally. The protruded portions of the lungs and the lacerated section of the stomach have sloughed off, leaving the large puncture of the stomach plain to be seen. The patient thus far has experienced no sickness or irritability of the stomach, not even nausea.
Do you know what, William? I just don't know. It's just so hard to take hold of. Imagine. By all that's right, that boy should have been dead days ago.
I'm surprised as you, Deborah, but the fact remains he's very much alive.
But if he's in torture, I mean, all that suffering, all the pain, half his stomach open. What reason? You know he can't live.
Where life is, I try to persuade it to remain. I succeed, I fail. The final voice is never mine.
But this poor boy, what possible hope is there?
I don't know. The hopeful, the hopeless. It's a grave question, but it's not my field. I'm a medical doctor, not a philosopher. I'm not much of a businessman, either.
There aren't too many that are pressing. Just 3 or 4 here. And this one. Well, and maybe this one here. And this one. It's really not too pressing. Is it, William?
I love you. I love you very much.
Don't you worry now. You hear? It's going to be all right.
I don't think so, Deborah. And I'm not worried much.
So it continued. The townspeople stood by and waited for Alexis to die. But the waiting stretched into days, weeks, then months. Alexis hung on desperately. He would not die. Dr. Beaumont examined and treated the patient daily, recording every step, every observation down to the smallest detail. So complete, so thorough are his notes that even today they would be a credit to the finest hospital in the world.
The 27th of June. After 3 weeks, his appetite is now regular. The stomach has shown not the least disposition to close its puncture by granulations. The 18th of July. The 6th rib, which was worst injured and blown off entirely in the first place, has become carious or decayed at its fractured extremity. I have been obliged to amputate it about midway between sternum and spine. I did this by dissecting around, separating and retracting the intercostals to the sound portion of the rib, and then sewing it off with a very narrow, short saw, which I made for the occasion. The operation succeeded admirably. To retain food and drink as much as possible, I have kept to the opening in the stomach a firm compress of lint, fitted to the shape and size of the puncture and confined by straps of adhesive. Under these dressings, digestion is as completely performed as in the most healthy person in the vicinity. I am even able to see digestion go on each time I dress the wound. After trying every means within my power to close the puncture of the stomach without the least appearance of success, I gave over trying. 28th of April. Today I have been informed by authorities of the town that they're not able, nor are they required, to further provide for Alexis St. Martin. He is a pauper, no friends, no money. They propose to pack him off in an open canoe to his native place, Montreal, nearly 2,000 miles distant. My protest against such inhuman disposal of a person are of no avail, even though the authorities are aware it will mean death for him.
Happy are they that die in the poorhouse of this town. In my opinion, the public officers of the town would sooner pay a round sum for the extinction of a pauper than to make an exertion or take any trouble to procure the necessary assistance.